Hello everybody, and welcome to today's episode of DownStream Outdoors. Here at DownStream Outdoors, we love just about anything that gets us out of the house, gets us out here in nature, gets us enjoying some fresh, clean air. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different than what we've done. We've done mostly fishing and edible shows up to this point. Today, we're breaking out the metal detector. We're at a local park here. One of the important things about metal detecting is get permission. Make sure you have permission before you actually go into a place and start digging anything, okay? I was lucky enough that I spoke to two gentlemen that are on the board of this local park, and they granted me permission, saying that others have been down here in the past. Now, with that said, metal detecting can be tough because there is a lot of guys out there that have metal detectors that maybe you just don't realize they have metal detectors. So what we're going to do here today is we are going to get to know our equipment a little bit. We're going to get to know our machine a little bit, and we're going to take it from there. Today is just very basic, very beginner stuff for metal detecting. Okay. First tool I'm going to show you today for metal detecting is this nifty little item right here. Almost looks kind of like a knife, but if you look at it, it does have a concave surface to it. It's got a bit of a cutting edge on it. And what I use this tool for is whenever you go to somebody's yard, where they have a nice yard, they don't want it all tore up, they don't want it all dug up. So what you can actually do with this is you insert this into the ground, and you cut a plug of grass out. You take that plug of grass out, you lay it over, and then whenever you're done fiddling around in the hole, you can put that plug of grass right back in, and it looks like you were never even there. Now the next thing we got, simple garden shovel, okay? Once you lay that plug of grass out, you need to be able to dig in the ground underneath where the grass was, okay? That's where this comes in handy. Just a cheap thing at the big box store here, but it works good, okay? And lastly, but most importantly, is our metal detector, okay? Once again, what you put into this is what you will get out. This is one of those pieces of equipment. If you want a good one, you have to spend a little bit of money. There are crazy priced ones. This is not a crazy priced one. I actually purchased this one used and didn't spend a whole lot of money on it. However, this is one of the ones that if I would have bought new, I could have went a little bit overboard on the price, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to look at is whenever we fire up my particular machine, okay, the first thing it's going to want to do is calibrate it. Calibrate itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. We're going to turn it on. Okay, now it's asking me to raise and lower my loop up and down on the ground, okay? And what this does is this tells what the soil composition is, and it helps it set itself for the particular soil you're at. It asks you to squeeze the trigger. Now we're ready to start sweeping. Now the next thing is we need to figure out our particular machine, just because like my particular machine, it makes different sounds for different types of metal, okay? And so we're going to take that into consideration, okay? The first thing we're going to try is just a standard modern American coin, okay? We run our metal detector over it. We get a nice, clean, high-pitched sound, okay? Now we got something a little bit older. This is actually a silver quarter. I found this one in my change. I tend to keep things like that. Okay, we'll throw that out there. Another nice, clean, ringing sound, okay? What I've found with my particular machine is the lower quality the metal, it doesn't sound quite as good. Once again, there's another piece kind of like that silver coin, things that we would actually be hoping to find when we're at metal detecting. This is a little piece of like 14 karat gold here. Nothing fancy, nothing real big, but it'll prove our point for the metal detecting. See, it's very small, so it gets a very small, little tiny bite. Okay, but still, once again, whenever it does pick it up, we get a good sound out of it. Okay? Now, we've looked over the three major types of metal most people are going to be looking for whenever they're out metal detecting. But one of the things I truly love is history. I love local history. So a lot of times I'm not actually out there looking for gold and silver and things of that sort. I'm looking for relics. And relics are generally iron, brass, stuff like that. I love to find things that can tell you a little bit of history about a site. You go to old homesteads and such like that. That's where you find a lot of the old history stuff. Couple things to keep in mind. Whenever you go to a place and you dig up something that you don't necessarily want, it's trash, take it with you. Be polite to the property owner. You're helping clean that up. You're helping encourage that property owner to be more willing to have other metal detectors and yourself come back and metal detect again. Okay? Always pick up the trash. Always be as clean as you possibly can. Alright, now we've triangulated the spot. What we did was we squeezed the trigger and it allowed us to show just about how deep it was, and it gave me a pretty good triangulation of the spot. We're going to mark that spot, get our tools. Right here's the spot that we got, okay? I'm going to show you now. Okay, right here is about our closest spot, okay? Hopefully you can see that. Right here is about our closest spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our cutting tool. We're going to cut a plug. Now, they make a product called a pinpointer that helps you at this point. It's a much smaller metal detector, and it'll get you right in there and get the exact spot you're digging at. But I don't have that, so what I do is I take and I cut my plug out and I lay my plug over. Then what I'll do is I pass the metal detector over my plug. I know whatever's in there is in this plug, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this plug in half. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with each half. Well, I already found one of the things this hole was hiding. Looks like a, without cleaning up, I can't tell for sure, but looks like a modern dime. That's not a bad little find. We'll put that away. But it's still saying there's something else in here. So we're going to break this in half one more time. Oh wait, looks, might have had a pocket spill here. There's a modern nickel. Yep. Modern penny. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to place all these plugs back into the ground. And when we're done, it's going to look something like this. And with another rain and another day or two, you won't even know that I was there. This is the best method I have found thus far, covering maximum amount of territory. Take baby steps, swing your detector back and forth in an arcing type motion. Just keep moving forward, and plotting it out in a grid type pattern. Think about it whenever you're out metal detecting. Anything you find interesting, or something that you find that looks like people have been setting on, possibly good places to hunt. This old stump right down here along the creek in this park, you can set on this stump and look down at the creek, where you can turn around and you can look over the park and see the playground and everything like that. It looks like it's been here for an eternity and cut off for a long time. So this looks like a place people would sit down to relax, look at the streams, look at people playing in the park. A good place for people to lose stuff out of their pockets. Let's see what happens. Alright, so we got a real solid, clear ringtone right here around a stump. There's only one way to find out what it is, though. Let's dig it out. A fired bullet. That's pretty neat. It's got an indentation from where it hit something. That's neat. Well, folks, that about does it for this week's episode of Downstream Outdoors. We found a couple things. We found a little pocket spill where somebody had lost some pocket change, a dime, a penny, and a nickel. We found a couple 9mm casings. We found this really neat bullet. If you look at this bullet, you can actually see a flat side and indentation right here. That means it was actually fired. It actually hit something, and it left an impression on the bullet. Just remember, metal detecting isn't always about finding valuables. These are worth about face value. These are worth what I feel like they're worth, which isn't really much. They're just neat. You never know. Every time you dig in the ground, it's always a guessing game what you're going to find. And ultimately, this boils back to a childhood for a lot of people, not just boys, but girls too. Everybody loves the idea of being a treasure hunter, going out and finding the treasure, the pirate treasure. With the map and the X marks the spot. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. The best thing we can do is get a metal detector. That is one of the easiest ways to find any kind of treasure, even if it's not worth that much. But it's always worth the experience of getting outdoors, which is the most important part, is getting outdoors, getting the activity in, breathing the fresh air. So until next time, keep your line wet and out of the trees.